Apostrophe CMS Onboarding Series. Development setup for Windows and Linux operating systems. In order to get your environment ready for local development, you need to install Node 18 or greater along with a package manager like NPM. We recommend that you install NVM, the Node version manager, to make installing and updating Node a little easier. You will also need to be able to connect your Apostrophe project to a MongoDB instance. The easiest way to accomplish this is through MongoDB Atlas, a hosted version of MongoDB. Taking this route means you don't have to install any additional software. However, you can also elect to install the MongoDB community server locally. For development with Windows 10 or 11, we only support the use of Windows Subsystem for Linux. Currently supported versions of these two operating systems both support easy installation of WSL2 with Ubuntu 22.04 LTS. To start installation, open the Windows PowerShell as an admin and run WSL install. After download and installation of Ubuntu, you will be walked through the creation of an admin user and other setup steps for the Linux virtual machine. You can elect to set up Windows Terminal to work alongside your Ubuntu instance. Microsoft has excellent guidance for setting up your WSL development environment, and there is a link in the comments. Once you have WSL installed, setup for developing with Apostrophe is the same as that for setting up a Linux system. Just make sure all steps are completed in the Linux environment. The following instructions assume that you are using Ubuntu for your development environment. While other Linux distros can be used, the installation might slightly differ. We recommend that you use the NVM manager for several reasons, but the biggest one is that it avoids many permissions problems when installing packages. There are other advantages like easy version switching for testing and different projects, plus development environment consistency. The developers of NVM provide an install script at their GitHub repo. This script updates your shell configuration, so prior to running this script, you have to make sure that you have a configuration file. To check what shell you are using, run the command echo $0. If you're using Bash, which is the default for the official Ubuntu LTS distro, your system should have a .bashrc file already. If not, create it using touch~/.bashrc. Next, install curl by running the following commands. Once curl is installed, run the following command to download the install script and install it in your system. You will likely have to restart your terminal after running the script using source~/.bashrc. And then you can test if the installation was successful using command-v nvm. This should return nvm. For any additional troubleshooting, see the NVM GitHub repo README file linked in the comments below. Once NVM is installed, you can use the command nvm install 18 to install both Node version 18 and the npm package manager. Next, you need access to a MongoDB instance. Again, the easiest route is to use MongoDB Atlas. There's a generous free tier and doesn't require any setup beyond passing the access URI to the Apos MongoDB URI environment variable. One drawback to this approach is that it limits local development when offline. The community server, on the other hand, is running on your local machine, so it's always available. The MongoDB.com site has instructions for installing the community server for Ubuntu. It might be easiest to copy the commands from their site since some are quite long. There is a link in the comments below. We need to follow a series of steps. First, we need to make sure that our environment can add the server repository securely. To do this, we install GNU-PG, a tool that allows our system to authenticate the integrity and origin of the repository. Next, we can download the repository public key and store it in our keyring. Next, we're going to use a rather long command to add the repository to our package manager. After that, we need to reload the local package database and then finally install the server. In order to make sure that MongoDB starts at system boot, we can issue a systemctl command. Note that this will not start the MongoDB server until you restart your system. The final thing that makes development easier but isn't required is to install the Apostrophe command line tool. This makes routine tasks like spinning up a project from a starter kit and adding new modules a little quicker. This package also requires that your system have Git installed to clone the starter kit repositories. At this point, it's a good idea to restart your machine. When your system is finished rebooting, check to make sure that your MongoDB community server is running using the following command. At this point, you can spin a new Apostrophe CMS project up. We will create a new directory for our projects, and then after changing into that directory, we'll run the command apos create along with a project name to spin a new project up. The CLI tool will create the project by cloning from GitHub. Then it will install all the npm dependencies. And finally, it'll create a new admin user for us. Once the CLI tool is finished making the project, we can change into that new directory and then run npm run dev to bring the site up in development. The only other thing that you'll need to do is add a code editor like VS Code or NeoVim. Whatever tool you select, they will likely have a variety of customizations like linters that will make working with your project a little easier. Great job on setting up your development environment. You're now equipped with the tools needed to build incredible projects with Apostrophe. If you followed this video as part of our tutorial series, you're all set to dive into our tutorial introduction that introduces the core components of Apostrophe and also what we'll be building. If you're here to get your environment ready for your own projects outside of our series, you're in a great position to start developing. If you have any questions about this tutorial or want more help in starting your Apostrophe CMS project, please visit our vibrant community in Discord, which you can join right now using the link in the description.